Woof. Yo, and welcome back to the Phoenix Mercury podcast. I am your host, Erika Day. I'm joined by EG1, QB1, on and off the field, in and out of the studio, Stephen for John Garner. Stephen, how the heck are you doing on this mediocre Sunday afternoon?
I'm a little confused, but we are here to talk about everything that was that game. We'll dive into the reasons why I'm confused shortly. We got numbers coming up. We got clips coming up. We got general conversations to have. The Mercury are now in must-win and gotta-have-it mode the rest of this series, and it's only been one game. So, looking forward to diving into it, though. How you doing?
You know, thank goodness I came back to the studio and had a little shoot the crap time with our great producer Kevin Thomas, because without it I would just be a lot gloomier on this opener of the show here. We just watched the Phoenix Mercury lose in overtime to the New York Liberty. I believe this was their only overtime game of the season, actually. I was actually just looking at this yesterday for some reason, and I noticed that they hadn't played any overtime games. Their time percentage compared to everybody else was lower. It was only 40 minutes and everybody else is 40.1 or something stupid like that. So I'm like, dang, did they really not play any? And I don't think they did. And I tried to see before the show started if the Liberty had played any overtime games, and I couldn't find that information. I don't know why the WNBA makes it so difficult to find such basic information, but nonetheless, F it, we ball. You know, I watched this entire video about Sandy talking about first teams in overtime being the ones that win it, and then, the data behind that. So that had to have existed at some point this season, because I saw that video 2 or 3 weeks ago. So nonetheless, whatever. But we did get 5 new PHNX members, or subscriber members, I guess. I don't know what exactly we're calling the club of members.
MVP members, I think.
MVP members. Yeah. I mean, when someone named Cardi D becomes a member of your club, that sounds like a club I want to be a part of.
That's
MVPs,
special.
Yeah, MVP Cardi D, ooh. Yeah, so, and then we also got a $10 super chat before we even started this show. I am not exactly sure I'm going to get this off correctly, so I apologize, Psycho Blue SFXT. But a super chat for $10 from him. This guy says, B-ball
Cthulhu.
Thank you. Thinks Satou needs to play better when the lights are on bright if she wants to be ready for the blinking contest with the upcoming lockout. Phoenix shot selection was very budball. That was a really good impression of that emoji, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a good one. I think for the audio listeners, you know exactly what emoji she was referencing when she made that noise.
I had to ask, and the full transparency, peek behind the curtain. I really don't watch the NBA, so I saw that comment before the game, before the pod started, and I was like, Steven, what does that even mean? Budball? That was
Airbud?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Airbud? Who's Bud, and why are we balling like that guy? So I'm gonna take it as that's a bad thing in the context of your comment, and I want to apologize for that for you. I have my expectations high for today, and we're gonna go through the numbers. And like Steven said, we got a bunch of clips. Steven did a fantastic job preparing for this post-game show, so we got clips galore today. So I want to fly into the by the numbers real quick because I feel like it helps us guide the conversation a little bit to start us off. So the Mercury was outscored 76-69. Steven, you want to run through the rest of this?
Yeah, start with the game going into overtime. And when you get to postseason games, but this also includes regular season games where you don't handle your business in regulation, that opportunity and that window to put a team away, it typically vanishes. and then the game is just up for grabs. And when you're the team that concedes that opportunity to an opponent, oftentimes it doesn't work in your favor, even if you are at home. And we saw what was the X Factor advantage give them multiple opportunities to close the door in the fourth quarter, especially in the last 5 minutes. And they just did not have that final stamping of kicking the door down or kicking the door closed and shutting it. Kept the slightest crevice open, and New York did what they did as a championship winning team. And they went in and kind of got this one in a situation where they shouldn't have. But to that point, though, 41.7% from the field for the New York Liberty, 30.3% from the three-point line in particular from the Liberty. I want to start with those two numbers because if you ever tell me and I close my eyes and if someone tells me the Mercury just held a team to 41% from the field and 30% from three, I'm probably telling you that's a game that they won by 10 or 15 points. The fact that that is not the case in today's game really kind of speaks to the offensive side more than the defensive end. But if you bring the numbers back up real quick to kind of finish out the graphic and looking at things, 21 turnovers versus 11 for the Mercury. So they were plus 10 in the turnover margin. You put the shooting percentages that they held the Liberty to in tandem with the amount of turnovers that they forced the Liberty into, in tandem with the 15 turnover points that they were able to compile from the 21 turnovers of the Liberty, even with the rebound margin tied into things, that's a situation where I'm assuming the Mercury won that game by 10. And that kind of speaks to what I was speaking to with the final score being what it was, not closing the door, not stamping your foot on things as far as keeping your identity there and not allowing for an opponent to find ways to eke back into it. They didn't finish the job today, and we're seeing the team that's now who had home court advantage, everything they worked for in the regular season, and it kind of just went out the window a little bit in this first game. Now, there's still opportunity, and the silver lining is all the work you did, even though you gave it up in the first game, is you still have a deciding game on your home court should you handle your business on Wednesday.
Yeah, and I mean, to your point, like, a lot of people are going to talk about the skies falling today. And like, I still feel like the sink is shipping. For the people that know, you know. But unfortunately, Stephen is right. The sky is really not falling yet. Until like, if they're down by 15 at halftime in New York on Wednesday, yeah, the sky might be falling a little bit. But like, they're not yet. There's plenty of game to be played. And yeah, I mean, they get to bring it back home to Phoenix if they take the game in New York. So I feel confidence. I think that this team is a driven team, and we're gonna get into that in a little bit. Kevin, you know, the one thing we did not mention was the one word Burns. Do you have that ready? Oh, perfect. I think we should hit that real quick before we get into these clips, because personally, I feel like my word is, yeah, it's foul, because that's what it was. It smelled foul. It looked foul. It felt foul. I felt fouled. I felt like I got, you know, an arm bar to the neck after it was all said and done. So nonetheless, it was foul. Like, and they're really, they won the foul margin, which yay, woo. And that's another point. Like, if you would have told me that they went to the free throw line more than the Liberty, I'd be like, oh, they won the game. Like, no questions asked, man. But no, unfortunately, it was not the way the cookie crumbled. They did not get it. It was a foul loss, in my opinion. So that's how I felt.
Yeah. My one word burn for today's game was unraveled. And I feel like that's what kind of happened down the home stretch of the game. They just kind of unraveled some. And it wasn't in a, oh my goodness, what in the world is happening type of thing. It was just, they didn't close the door. And then because they didn't close the door, they unraveled just enough for the Liberty to do what they did and ultimately win the game. So, I feel like there's plenty for them to learn from in this game. If you copied and pasted the way that they played in this game to Wednesday's game, that's a game they should win because they shouldn't shoot as bad from the field as they did. Shouldn't miss as many layups and shouldn't miss as many of the timely free throws that they did. Alyssa Thomas missing 2 free throws in crunch time. Yeah. It's not something that you typically see. Alyssa Thomas missing a layup, period. But especially with the game on the line, very much anomalies. And that's why I'm not overreacting, because I feel like they'll be very much in a similar situation. I said I had the Mercury in two highly contested games. I said it might end up being a game winner and takes it into one game. This was the opportunity for it to happen. They had opportunities. Plenty of opportunities, correct. And they just didn't have it to finish it today. They didn't put a period on their sentence for the game. It was just a comma, and New York came in and finished the sentence off.
Well, to Steven's point, though, I was going to put my own word up there, but my word was going to be pedigree, because I felt like when the game came down to the line, New York had the guts to finish it, and they didn't get off their game plan. They didn't get thrown off track by the time and circumstance of the game. It was just winning basketball on New York's side. And I feel like it got really messy down the stretch. To Steven's point about the game being unraveled near the end, I think that the championship mentality of New York really showed through. And if you're Phoenix, how can you overcome that in game 2 and 3, right? So.
Well, I think to your point, a lot of people are going to walk away from today's game and talk about, the shooting percentages, the 2 for 17 from Satou or whatever. But there were multiple chances down the stretch to put the game away. And, both of them are on our MVP's back. I can think of 2 of them off the top of my head, both of them AT involved, and, they weren't able to execute in a timely manner. So it's on everyone. This is a team sport, and I totally understand. Look, when you look at the box score and that's the thing that sticks out to you, I do understand why that's frustrates you, but you got to watch the game. There's so much game context there. And all of Satou's shots, I didn't even notice that she missed as many shots as she missed, because the shots that she took were in the flow of the game. They were timely shots. It's not, with the exception of maybe the last 2 of the 17 shots, all of them were within the rhythm of the game and made sense to Phoenix's system. So you can't even be mad at the shots that she was taking, because she's not the type, normally the type of player to miss them. So it was system based. And I mean, if we've talked all season about how this team is rooted in the defense, and if you hold New York to 75 points on any other given night, you're probably going to win that game. And tonight was just the night where the Mercury couldn't make a layup to save their life in the first and second quarter. It was egregious. But then after that, you're making tough shot after tough shot after tough shot, and that 4th or 5th or 6th tough shot just gets to be that much tougher for you to make. So it piled on tonight in a lot of ways. So I definitely understand a lot why a lot of people are going to be frustrated with the shooting percentages. But to Steven's point, these same players have been making a ton of shots all season long. So you can't be oh, this player's washed. Go look at the beginning of the season or 3 games ago. I beg to differ, dude. Satou Sabally is not washed. She is still a top 15 player in the league, like it or not. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, while we on the topic of Satou, people were in a tizzy, if you will, early in the season, because Nate spoke to wanting Satou to have a specific type of shot profile. Heavy on the threes. He said he would like to see her take 10 a game. If she could get up 10, if the game flow suggested that she could get up that many shots, he wanted her to take those. And she took 10 threes today. Yep. On the season, she averaged 32 point some change percent from 3. So if you average out, she knocks down 3 threes in this game. So 2 more than she actually did. That's the game. Yep. So it's not that she's taking bad shots outside of maybe 2 or 3, to your point. I think it's more so just those shots not falling today. And Alyssa Thomas, she's never just copying and pasting answers, but there was a handful of times in postgame where people were asking questions about other dynamics of the game. And Alyssa's yeah, I acknowledge that was something, but that wasn't the thing. We just missed shots today. Yeah. A lot of shots rimmed in halfway down the rim and just decided to not go down for whatever reason. So that's the way the game flows sometimes. It's the teams that are able to figure that part out and not allow for it to dictate. Ultimately be the demise of the game for them, that find a way to win that game. And New York had a lot of shots that didn't go down that they typically make as well. I don't know how many wide open threes Phoebus took, and Kennedy Burke in particular too. They go halfway down and just didn't fall. Brianna Stewart as well. It was like that on both sides. Yep. New York just figured it out quicker than Phoenix did, and now they go home with the chance to advance potentially. Well,
I think we should move into these clips because I think it's timely and it will help us guide the rest of this conversation. Mm-hmm. Anywhere you want to start in particular?
Yeah, while we're on Satou, we can go ahead and let her be the transition point. Nate Tibbetts was asked about her performance today offensively, and here was everything that he had to say about it.
17 is, she's not trying to miss, right? I think you can control your defense. I loved how she competed at that end. Obviously, there's some shots that she probably wishes she had back, but that happens in the game, right? When you shoot it every time you're thinking about shooting, you're thinking make, and sometimes there's games like this.
Yeah, I'm not mad at Satou. Obviously, you want to have her perform better, but I'm not mad at the shots that she took withstanding maybe one or two of those, because if she doesn't take 10 threes today, just doing the thought exercise, the New York Liberty took 33 threes. A large part of playing offense in the modern WNBA and modern basketball is playing the math game. If your opponents are taking X amount of shots from deep, you have to at least match them in attempts if you're not matching and out-making them in terms of the total that you're making. So the Mercury were -4 in threes made in today's game. New York took 33 attempts. The Mercury took 26 attempts. So they were that much less in volume. If Satou doesn't take the ones that she does and ultimately make one that chips into that 4 3-point made deficit, who's taking those shots? And that's where we talk about watching the games and the game flow. You have to kind of take that into account, because if they just don't take those shots, you don't even get to that third quarter and fourth quarter stretch where they climb back to within one, ultimately take the lead, they're jousting back and forth, and then they kind of create a little bit of separation within the last 5 minutes. So you can say what you want about the shots not going down. It happens sometimes. So all of the greatest scorers in the league. I bet you if Satou takes the exact same shots in game 2, they probably win that game, considering some of them were open.
I don't know. I felt frustrated late in the game at the shot selection.
The one mid-range shot was the one that stands out to me.
What am I watching?
But at that point, because you're 2 for 16 at that point, you just want to do something positive.
Yep.
And
I totally get that. And like there's an emotional level to these games at this point, because while it's not one and done, it is. I mean,
best of 3.
Like that's a short series. Like you blink and it's over, and like you can't be asleep in any of these games, and they understand what is at stake, and having to go back to a place like Brooklyn to play game 2 is not easy. And so to Nate's point, like while I've already seen the reaction to it, and it is hilarious because it's a funny thing for him to have said, but like she wasn't trying to miss. Like
I think people forget that part though.
Yeah, like
honestly,
so I think there's just a lot to be said about A, having the confidence to still put those shots up, and B, to your point, like trying different things. Like, so Nate's wanted you to put those threes up all season long. Okay, fine. Go to the manure strip, as we've lovingly called it all season long, but go there, see if it works.
That's your comfort. That's your comfort zone. At the end of the day, if he's making her into a more well-rounded 3-level player that's willing to take whatever shot she can create, but when you're in a rut in some capacity, you usually get back to what you're comfortable or what you're best at. She couldn't get all the way to the rim because of the way that New York was defending her, because of how much time she spent at the rim against them in the regular season. So selling for the mid-range shot is the counterpunch to that, to find some rhythm. She just couldn't find it tonight. I'm not mad at her about it. Those are the shots they need her to take for the math point that I just brought up, but also in the flow of the game. If they're getting shots based off of the coverage conceded to someone on the ball and she's on the second side, you want her to pass up shots because she hasn't made her first 4 or 5 3-point attempts, or do you want her to continue to take the ones in rhythm and flow of the offense? You have to keep the record spinning. You can't be a record scratch. And that's what Nate has been kind of grooming her into, to the point where she's comfortable taking 10 even if she only makes 1.
Yeah, and like you said, like she takes these exact same shots on Wednesday, and they can very well she can be 17 for 17 for all we know. Like that's the type of scorer that she is. And so, yeah, I definitely, like I said, not to reiterate and, beat a dead bush here, but I do get why that's the easy assessment to have. Like anyone with eyes can make that assessment, but you take it a step further and, think about the assessment that you're making, and, make an educated, think piece here. I've seen the craziest things of all the people said on this team. Like I've seen the craziest stuff said about Satou Sabally. And at the end of the day, like the only reason the Mercury were able to go on the win streaks that they were able to go on earlier this season is because of the team construct. And that doesn't start or end with just Alyssa Thomas, or start or end with Kit Lockset. Like Satou Sabally is very much heavily in this mix, and the reason that this team is in even the position that they're in and able to host this game in the first place.
Yeah, she's integral to the identity that they want to play.
Yep.
And to that point, we use numbers. I always use numbers as context for what it is that you're speaking to, not numbers to dictate the conversation, because numbers without context is just like you can spin numbers into anything at that point. You could just go and say that this game was on Satou because she missed that many shots. But if you're not applying the context of it, it can get lost in translation. So just want to make sure we kind of steer things appropriately for the way that I feel like they should go. And also shine light because, yeah, she missed as many shots as she did, but she was second on this team in rebounding today. And
they struggled with that.
And they struggled with that. So
badly.
So to that point, exactly. The other big thing for me is also she had 3 steals. She was highly impactful on the defensive end of the floor, guarding any one of the 5 players in the lineup for the New York Liberty at any given moment. JJ, Stewie, Sabrina at times, Natasha Cloud at times, Phoebridge at times, Kennedy Burke. It didn't matter who it was. Satou probably spent 2 to 3 minutes guarding every one of their players, and she did so for the most part effectively.
To your point, like I saw a ton of people talking about why did she play 37 minutes, and like he could not take her out at multiple points in the game. Like
she's too important.
When she was an integral part of the defensive stops needed in that fourth quarter to keep them in the game in any way. And even that third quarter when Kahleah came out, Kahleah came out on absolute fire defensively in that third quarter.
We'll get to her shortly.
Like, just absolutely ridiculous. But Satou was second to no one. Like, she was on one the entire game. And so, again, I feel like we keep kind of repeating ourselves here, but like her shot selection wasn't poor. If I was Nate Tibbetts, I would let her take those same shots over again tenfold.
He will. That's why he's been preaching for her.
So, yep. Yeah, I do think we should get to Kahleah though, because I think she played not a perfect game, but she was the best player through the first half, assuredly for the Phoenix Mercury, and I say that confidently. She had the first 4 points for the Phoenix Mercury, and then after that, like, didn't score at a super high volume, finishing with only 15 points, 2 rebounds, assists, and a steal, and a block. Oh my gosh, I love when Kahleah Copper gets a block. It's like my favorite point in every game ever. But go ahead with your clip on that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So we can start with Kyle speaking to the mindset of the team going into game 2. Obviously, a game on the road, a game that if they don't win it, the season is over. And please pay close attention to the nonverbals as far as the demeanor of Kahleah when she's up here answering this question. So here's Kyle on the team's mindset going into game 2.
Yeah, mindset is go get it. Let's go to New York and get it. It's no other mindset. I mean, we talked about whoever said Liberty in 3 or whatever. It's cool. Stay here. Sorry. Rest everybody. That's how we feel.
So, question for Kevin and Erika. Did y'all sense any panic from Kahleah in her answer?
No, I actually feel like she wants to play game 2 in like 5 minutes. And if she was allowed to, she literally would.
I heard a lot of defiance, actually. Honestly, like it felt like, okay, like you think that we're back against the wall. Well, we're just gonna play the same game and win this time, and we're that confident. I heard confidence from Kahleah Copper, honestly.
So you can fake a lot of things. You can't fake confidence, especially you might be able to fake it to yourself, but you can't fake it to observers. You can. That's why I mentioned to look at the nonverbals. That was very much we know there's only 2 more games left, and if we lose this next one, the season's over. We still very much firmly believe in who we are, and we know that when we play to our identity, we can go and get a game against whoever, whenever, and wherever. That's what you want from your franchise player. Ask the tough question. Obviously, the stakes are as high as it gets. Being in the playoffs, no tomorrow is guaranteed. And even smiles while saying everything that she said.
Well, and then AT laughing next to her. I mean,
this is someone who's been here before, who's done that before, and Kahleah Copper being a champion and a Finals MVP. Unfazed by the moment, understands that they can be better, but also understands that it's been them versus everybody all season long. And if you've been faking saying that all season, that's not going to be your response to this question that she was asked. But because it is, she falls right back to the default button. Everything comes back to the identity and the culture that they've established. And because of those things, they're not moved by this game. They know that they let one slip through their hands because of multiple things that happen, but they're not blinking. They're very much staring straight in the eyes of Brooklyn and looking forward to going in, giving Ellie a terrible time.
Ellie, a terrible time. I hope that is our thumbnail for Wednesday's episode. A terrible time for Ellie.
They got their work cut off for them, but that's very much what I gathered from everything that Kahleah just said there.
And my favorite thing about that is I want to draw like a kind of a comparison to what we were just talking about with Satou, is like she fell back into old habits with the shot selection there at the end. And Kahleah fell back into old habits with the Mercury versus everybody mentality. And like, you know, because of the unique situation that the Mercury have been in over the last like 3 or 4 games where their matchup has been pretty much set. Like the 2 teams that needed to lose were probably not going to lose. And then the 2 teams that needed to win were probably not going to win. And so the Mercury's matchup has been set for like almost an entire week. And so I think they were in a unique situation where they could rest against, for lack of a better term in this situation, like this is no slight to these teams or players, but like lesser than teams. And so I think, you know, they understand the job at hand, and they have as much as we're sitting here thinking like, oh, the sky is not falling, they are thinking the sky is not falling, and they believe in themselves as they have since week 1 of training camp. So I think the buy-in is just as much there as it has been all year. Like I looked at the huddle with a minute and a half left to go in overtime, and Kat Westbeld is standing over them like clapping and like in everybody's face telling them like this is still winnable. I think they were down by 8 at that point. And so like they're, as a team, are the same as they were a month ago with their buy-in, and I think that's as important as anything else that we could walk away from the game tonight.
That's why that late stretch of games where Nate shrunk the rotation to what he believed was their best 8 was so important. They've watched themselves figure it out in real time against good teams like New York, and beat a team like New York in this very same situation just a little less than a month ago on this very same court with this exact crop of players staking a significant claim to the rotation. This is why those moments are important, because when you figure it out, there's a certain level of belief to where we've been here before, we've done that before. And that feels like the overarching thing from what Ka said and the things that you said you observed during the game when it was at the most contentious points. But while we're still on the topic of Kahleah Copper, 15 points on 13 shots. She didn't knock down a 3-ball today, but she did get to the free throw line 5 times. And I'm double checking. Okay, so she tied with Breanna Stewart for free throw or for trips to the free throw line in today's game. Her force that she was playing with, finding ways to get downhill whenever she wanted to, however she wanted to. She is the X factor. Kevin's throwing up the X like I forgot which wrestler it is. That's not my bag.
X-Pac? Generation X?
Sure. I thought it was like one of the Hardy Boys or whatever. They used to throw up the X.
X-Pac, Generation X, Des Bryant of the NFL.
Des Bryant is the first name I usually think of. But to the point of you throwing up the X, which I had in mind, Ka is the X factor for today's game. When she gets a sense that, well, I'll rephrase this. I'll get to what I was about to say after it. Coming into almost any game, there's really no one that can stay in front of Kahleah Copper. Now I'll say what I was going to say. When she sees that there is no one that can stay in front of her from an opponent's perspective, it's like a shark that smells blood in the water. It's like a lion that sees some prey in the weeds. She's attacking. And once she gets into that mindset, it really doesn't matter what you're trying to do, because all she sees is the bucket, and she knows how to put the ball in the bucket, as well as anybody in that slasher archetype in the entire W. I asked Alyssa Thomas, because she's had a front row seat to the other side of Kahleah playoff fireworks. And this wasn't necessarily the fireworks rendition, but her force that she played with downhill was felt in this game. And here's what Alyssa spoke to about Kahleah's playoff performance today.
Just do that.
Yeah, I mean, she's a luxury to have. Like you said, she's able to get downhill. A defense nightmare. But yeah, I think we could do more to get her some easy shots to the basket. But yeah, overall, it was a good first game. Like I said, unfortunately, shots just didn't go our way.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with Alyssa. and kind of steering it away from Kai being able to do things off of her own will, but them also being able to balance that and finding ways to get her easier shots. Though the best scorers can obviously go and get it on their own, the ones that usually have the best scoring impact can get it on their own, but also have their teammates put them in positions to make their job easier. I don't know how many shots we saw of Kai's that were wide open ones. I think she got one midi where she pulled up coming off of a handoff of some sort. And the defense, because she's spent so much time getting downhill, is just reverting back to try to take away the basket. So she settles into the midi, and that's wide open because of that. Outside of that, there was a lot of tough baskets made at the rim, especially for Kai. She spent a lot of time in the paint. And I think they can, if they do a better job of getting her the type of shots that Alyssa was just suggesting, that's a game where she had 15 on 13 shots, could easily turn into 25 on 16 or 17 shots. And that, again, is the difference, especially in these playoffs against the reigning champions, between the game that you win and the game that you lose.
Well, I mean, there was at one point in the third quarter, I looked over at you and I was like, oh, Kahleah Copper is not only back, but she's so back. She's back to her true form, because there's no player in the league, I think, that gets tunnel vision on the rim the way that Kahleah Copper does once she's decided she likes her matchup. And she will verbally tell you, she will physically tell you with her eyes, and then she will physically tell you again after she scores on you as she's staring you down, not saying anything because she's respectful with it. But she is staring you down while she runs back to the other side of the court. And she lets you know in every other way. So tonight, to your point, like the more shots from Ka, the better. And especially in a game like tonight where Satous aren't falling, like getting Kahleah in a good position to slash to the basket or even take those tough shots. Because tonight, like, it felt like she scored more than 5 for 13. Like it felt way better than that. And so, you know, if she's scoring like that on tough buckets, like let her take the mid-range, all the mid-range shots she wants, to be honest with you. So
I think Nate and company have principles and habits that they have established with each of Satou and Kahleah. But when a scorer gets it going, you don't put them in a box. You don't put a great painter in a box to only paint about one specific subject. You let their mind take them where it wants to go. That's how you get the greatness out of them. Just having parameters for them to kind of play off of to get them to those pockets, those flow states. And Kyle was certainly in one of those in multiple stretches of this game. But time for a little break.
Yeah, right after this quick break here on the Phoenix Mercury podcast, we're going to talk about Alyssa Thomas. Team chemistry. Look ahead to game 2 because Stephen's got to make me feel some sort of positivity. Right after this quick break. You know who could help us get to game 2 up in New York?
I got a couple of names in mind.
Well, the one I'm thinking about is our good friends over at Mountain America Credit Union. And those guys, I mean, they help you out with everything. Not only will they help you out with the checking account, but it's going to help you out again with the built-in benefits that if I were to imagine, like in New York, like I don't want to spend my money, like my Mountain America Credit Union, those rewards will be much nicer to spend than the money out of my own bank account. You can enjoy restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, telehealth access, identity protection, loan rate discounts, offers on travel, and much, much more. Make My Style your lifestyle at Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/mystyle to apply. Insured by NCUA, membership required. Based on eligibility, some benefits require no cost registration, activation, terms, conditions, and exclusions do apply. But who's going to help me get back to Phoenix when I have to come back for game 3 on Friday? That is going to be my good pal over at Circle K. You know, these guys, they give me 25 cents off a gallon on my first 5 fill-ups, 3 cents a gallon on every fill-up after that, then 5 cents a gallon after I just get a few more fill-ups to join the club. You know, gotta work my way into that 5 cent off club. Then you get 79-cent Polar Pops, 99-cent Frosters, $1 cookies, 3 for $5 Gatorades. Like, the deals just go on and on and on. I could tell you all about them, but why don't you just go download the Inner Circle app, become a rewards member, just like me, Steven, Kevo, all these guys over here at PHNX headquarters. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details.
I will literally be going to Circle K after this episode is over because I need gas bad. And Circle K has all the savings I could ever need.
You need gas or your car needs gas?
All right, well, my car needs gas, but if I need to get home, I need my car. So I need my car to have gas.
I like that phrasing better.
Did you guys hear that I worked on my own car yesterday?
Wow. That's girl boss.
I changed
did
my
not.
own oil and my transmission fluid. Like, I feel like that is exactly Kevin's doing this, and like low-key exactly. I felt like an Olympic level athlete. Did I make a critical error? Sure did, but that's okay. It's gonna be fixed tomorrow. It's gonna be fixed tomorrow for $12.
This is like you being like, well, I cut my own hair yesterday.
Yeah.
Did I have to go to a
And
barber
then I
this
take it
morning?
out. Yeah.
Yes, they had to fix it, but I still cut my own hair.
No, we just broke a screw, and the screw, we had to order a replacement screw. It's like a very niche screw. Imagine trying to replace Kahleah Copper, right? You can't just go to Amazon and replace Kahleah Copper. That's not real, right? You know, so we had to order some ridiculous, special part, but it'll be fine. Try to insert that, let everybody know. I've been getting it done this weekend. But hey, chat, we got Andy, Kobe, Dylan, Melissa, all the chatters. Rob, I know, had some great points, as he always does, up above. The plan yesterday was to win in New York. The plan today is still to win in New York. I like that.
Perspective.
I love that.
I didn't even have to provide the positive side for you.
That was like really
Rob did it for you.
That was like really coach speaky. That was beautiful.
This is why I host this show. So Stephen can make me feel better. Kevin can make me feel better. The commenters can make me feel better. That's literally why we're all gathered here today on this fine Sunday afternoon. See, you got to leave a like, 5-star review, thumbs up, whatever. Subscribe to PHNX Sports while you're at it. We give you content on all the sports teams in the Valley, including the best one, aka the Phoenix Mercury, and then even the Arizona Wildcats, the Scummies over in Tempe, and all the other sports teams in the Valley. But Stephen, what's next for us?
Yeah, we can kind of shift things to the Monique Akol-Makani of it all. You know what? No, Kevin, I take that back. Let's go to the shot quality with Nate Tibbetts. So I asked Nate about their, not to say that they took bad shots, because I don't think they took bad shots, but I asked Nate about just the quality of shots that they were able to generate, and kind of if they were on the terms that he and they kind of planned to, or if it was more, this is what we could find, so let's just rock out with this. And here's what he had to say post game.
Yeah, I'll have to look at the tape. Obviously, we didn't shoot a great percentage today. Like I said, I don't think that you're always trying to make shots. What shots we got, we'll look at the analytics and the numbers and see what we can do better. But we put ourselves in position to win that game.
So just off of having watched the game, obviously, I feel like once they look at the numbers from the game and they just kind of look at the film before the numbers, they'll probably come to the conclusion that the shots they took were the ones that they want. They might be able to do a better job of getting those shots earlier in the clock by playing a little bit faster in the half court, but I think generally the shots that they did take were the ones that they want. Obviously the percentages, it is what it was. It was what it was. Shooting 32% from the field. Not going to get it done on most nights. 6 for 26 from 3, 23%. Not going to get it done on most nights. Counterpunch to that, though, in the rebuttal, watch this very same team without 2 of their 3 best players go and beat the Minnesota Lynx. Excuse me. They went and beat the Minnesota Lynx while knocking down only 1 3-pointer in the game in early July. So this is a team that can get it done in spite of their offense because of the strength of their identity. The defense was significantly where they needed to be. If you tell me you play an extra 5 minutes against the New York Liberty, one of the best offenses in the WNBA, and you only gave up 76 points, that's a game you should win. I feel like today was an anomaly. I will stand on that. If I'm wrong, it won't be the first time I'm wrong, and it won't be the last time I admit that I was wrong. But I just can't see them playing this same type of game and being better on the margins, being better in execution, and not being able to come back home on Friday to host a game 3.
I love the confidence. I also love the fact that my first thought was that our squad did, in fact, beat Anthony Edwards.
I wouldn't put it past the Mercury to be able to beat
You know,
anybody.
double team him. I don't even know who else is on. See, this is my point. I really don't watch.
Kahleah Copper versus Ant-Man would be.
That would be crazy.
Very special.
See, I don't know enough about the Wolves other than that to know what the matchups would be. But AT versus everybody is a W for us.
I was just thinking, like, if you throw AT in like the NBA, like that's a must watch. Like she's dishing dimes left and right, like getting boards.
Her stats would be.
I want to go higher. The D Rose video.
You got to make sure the NBA refs let her play, and not be calling tic-tac fouls like they usually
Just put
do.
me in the game. Put me in the ref shirt. I'll take care of it. See, if Rob said it, Mac versus Rudy would feed families. I'm glad we're all staying positive.
Melissa would know better than anybody. But yes, and Alyssa Thomas talking back and forth would be absolutely have those two mic'd up. Please and thank you.
Put it in a Louvre.
Please and thank you.
Louvre.
The Louvre.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we keep Kevin.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, to the overarching point though, that's what you get. This team is in a spot where they can make things happen. Not worried about them. Obviously, there's some things to think about just because obviously there's no tomorrow's guaranteed after Wednesday, but everything that we've learned over these 44 games and then today's game, I feel like should suggest that people expect this team to bounce back and have a response that's loud, even with it coming on the road.
Yeah, I don't know. This team hasn't at any point to me all season strike me as a team that struggles just for simply being in a different place. Mm-hmm. They feed off the energy of the crowd, whether positive or negative. So I think game 2 of this series is going to be one of the best games of the entire playoffs. Obviously round 1, but maybe the entire thing when it's all said and done, just because of how well the two teams matched up in the first game. And to go back to something Sandy was talking about pregame, like these two teams have both had a lot of injury adversity this season. I don't think that either team has met fully healthy, because I think even in game 4, Stewie was out in Phoenix.
And Stewie had just came back, but Sabrina was out for game 4.
And then Miesemann wasn't there for their first 2 games.
First 3
and
games.
And Stewie was out for game 3.
Yep.
And JJ missed the first game and a half. So, I mean.
Kyle only played 2 against them.
Yep.
Satou only played, I think, 3 against them. So a lot of ins and outs that just didn't see each other healthy.
So this was the first time that the true starters were seeing the true starters and vice versa. And so, you know, I feel confident in the roster that they have put together, being able to walk into someone else's house and walk away with a W on Wednesday. I feel confident in their confidence to do it. And you can see it all over in the last clip that you played of AT and Ka. Like, and when they're wearing that on their sleeve, like.
Yeah, your 2 best players have that demeanor.
Yep.
How could you worry?
It's almost like laughable.
How could you worry?
Like,
it is. No, they relish in the moment. They love the opportunities. Everybody's betting against them from everything they saw. They must not have saw our podcast because we definitely didn't.
I think they feed off the disrespect in a lot of ways.
100%. Because those are 2 players that did not have the odds stacked in their favor, even getting to the W, yet alone their teams getting to sustained success. So this is just another opportunity for them to lean into that.
I love it. Yeah, I love to see it.
I think this is a good point for Kevin. We can play the clip of Nate Tibbetts talking about the temperature check for the team and just kind of his assessments of the kind of energy that they had after the game and in the locker room prior to coming to the podium for post game.
No, I just think New York played better than us in overtime. I've been extremely proud of our group all season long. No one's picking us to win this series. I know we believe in us. And so this is our journey, right? This was our first playoff game together. We went toe-to-toe with the defending champs and had a chance to win. I'm super proud of how we competed and gave ourselves a chance to win at the end. And I know I expect and the group will expect to bounce back in New York.
Mercury versus everybody. That's very much a statement that aligns with that. Everybody continuing. This point in the playoffs is no different than going into the regular season where people saying, yeah, they don't got this, or yeah, I'm not sure about that. I don't know how they stack up against this team and that team. It's in the same situation, no different than why they came up with the Mercury versus everybody and Mercury vibes only adages over the course of the regular season. This is the moment where you double down on the things that you've made your identity and your foundation and your culture. We've seen that from the two best players as well as the head coach now.
Can I complain for a second?
What's up?
I'm sorry. I just saw something that really made me mad because why is everybody acting shocked when Natasha Cloud plays well in the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
If you follow my Twitter, you follow my... can you just watch the show? Can you just watch the show? I've been saying it for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even when she ain't on my team, I still talk about it. Please. I'm begging. Please stop acting surprised. She turns it on, okay? I don't know what she ate for breakfast. I don't know what she put in her coffee. I have no idea. But unfortunately, during the playoffs, it takes an exponential jump of greatness. And now that she's on the other side, does it hurt? Sure does. But I've been telling you for 2 years. Stop acting surprised. Now you can go.
Yeah, to your point.
Sorry about that.
To your point, she I think this is the most shots that she's taken as a member of the New York Liberty. Not by surprise. And I say this with great respect, but when you're going up against really good teams, you have to give up something. And if you're looking at a starting lineup of Leonie Phoebus, who can knock down 7 threes in a game, Sabrina Ionescu, who can score 40 points in 3.5 quarters if she really is feeling it, Brianna Stewart and Jonquel Jones, both being able to fill it up offensively in multiple ways. You got to give up something.
Yep.
If you're taking things away from them, that means you're giving up something to someone. And Natasha Cloud is that player in that lineup. That's why her going to New York was such an impactful move for me, not just because of the names, but because of what she's shown to be as a player on the biggest stages.
Yep.
She's a playoff riser. She's one of those players that regular season, sometimes you might forget she's on the court at times because of the names that she's playing with, not because of her production. But come playoff time, her production could be as loud as anybody's. Look at the Mercury last playoffs against the Minnesota Lynx. Who was the best player in the series for the
whole time? Natasha Cloud.
Exactly. And now, obviously, contextually, it's because the Lynx are looking to take things away from obviously Diana and Kahleah and Brianna and Brittany Griner. So in the pecking order, she's going to be fourth with that team if we're talking about last season. She just doesn't blink. She takes the shots that she's being given. Now she's knocked down shots. Now she's getting to the free throw line and the rim. And now her whole game is
making
open.
Great passes, rebounding the ball at a high rate. Like, she does it all.
She's an X factor a champ. Forget X factor. She's a champion for multiple reasons.
That's another thing that really peeing me off right now is because the post I saw that really set this whole thing off is because they said she wants that ring bad. I'm sorry. What did we just forget that Natasha Cloud already won a WNBA championship with the Washington Mystics? It was in 2019. Am I right about that?
I believe so.
Yeah. 2019 WNBA champion Natasha Cloud. I will not stand for the disrespect anymore. It's 2025. 6 years later, and she's still a WNBA champion. She doesn't want that ring bad. She wants a second ring bad. So I would just appreciate if we all took a little step back.
I gotta give a little buffer. Nowadays, we can't assume people were watching the W thing.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Nor can we assume that
they
the
know
research
what happened.
Was done to make up for the time that they weren't watching.
It just makes me sad. It's erasure because it was a great year. It was a fantastic title run to watch. Like, Elena Del Don's on the freaking team, and we've just forgotten it happened. Yep. I'm sorry.
Yep. Ordinarily, Stephen, that's a great defense, and it is great context, the context king, to bring it up. But I won't name the outlet, but it was like an outlet that like thinks themselves to cover the sport. Mm-hmm. So I think if you're not
that's true. That's true.
Now I'm glad you provided that.
If you're not like an outlet, if you're just like in the
chat. What did this game go to today? That outlet? That what time context did this game go to?
Yes.
Yeah, that outlet, the one that's supposed to be
not
doubling,
regulation.
tripling down on. Yeah, and so I'm sorry. It just really upsets me.
But yeah, fans, if you're new, mistakes. But the outlets that cover the sport, you got to do better.
And like, I think it's one thing to forget something that happened 15 years ago. Like, I don't know. Like, I was barely a person then. Like, literally, I was 12. Like, what? Okay, school. Like, I'm sorry, but you know, what are we talking about?
Yeah,
this is 6 years ago.
You gotta be better.
And the players that are active in the WNBA, like, you should know which ones are champions and which ones are not. And like, I feel like that's actually not that hard.
It's not.
Anyways, if you're watching this show, I'm not that sorry for yelling about what you said. because it wasn't very polite. She wants the ring for sure. She for sure does. But
It's
you know,
another. Not
it's
her
another
first.
ring. Thank you.
Right. And she's also been a playoff riser for so long.
Like
This is like that's the other thing.
new.
It's not like she got piggyback. She wasn't riding someone's coattail to a championship. She was an integral piece.
Yep.
In ways unique from how she's operating with these teams, but a player that still stepped up because of the ways that she was being guarded based off of other top end talents that she was spending time on teams with.
Yep.
And just always having an answer. Like she don't the disrespect, man. Yeah, I'm glad you provided the context of where it derived from, because that makes it hit a little different for me. We got to be better.
Steer us back on course, Steven. Sorry about that.
Back on course,
I
though.
derailed us a little bit because I get a little butthurt.
That was relevant. But back to today's game. Looking at Alyssa Thomas, so she finished today's game with 14 points on 18 shots. Had 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal. She did have 3 turnovers. That's a very solid game. You want for her scoring impact to be a little bit more loud, if you will. If she's taking 18 shots, you want to see her closer to 22, 23, 24 points. Now, I will say, if Alyssa Thomas is taking 18 shots, how many of those shots do you think are jump shots versus how many of those shots are attempts at the rim, whether it be post moves or layups or some combination of those?
Today, I would guess about half and half.
Most nights, if she's taking 18 shots, probably 12 or 14 of those are attempts at, near, or around the rim or the restricted area. If she's playing with that much force, she's probably getting hit. She's probably getting fouled.
And she only went to the free throw line 2 times.
And that's what I'm getting to.
Sorry.
So if Alyssa's taking 18 plus shots and she's only getting 2 free throw attempts, you said something smells foul. That was your one word burn. It was literal foul for her. She was being fouled and wasn't getting the whistle that an MVP caliber player should. Now, I don't want to make excuses. That's not what I'm doing, but I'm trying to contextualize things. AT taking 18 shots, a player that only takes maybe 3 or 4 jump shots a game, and that's on a high volume. If she's taking 3 or 4, it's probably 1 or 2 typically. That means that there's probably a certain type of whistle she should be getting that's not coming for whatever reason. That changes things as well in their favor, but the only 2, and then the other thing, so the 2 free throws that she missed, she only got to the free throw line 1 trip where she took 2. That was in the final 90 seconds of the game. So you're telling me for the other significant portion of the game that Alyssa wasn't being, she didn't play a style of play that suggested she should have taken more than those 2 free throws in the final 90 seconds? Make it make sense. She doesn't get the same whistle that other MVP caliber players do.
It never has.
Never has. Not making excuses, because again, like she said, and like I'm saying now, they had opportunities to do what they needed to, even with all of this context of what wasn't there that could have or should have been there. The fact that it wasn't and they still had opportunities speaks to how good this team is, the space that they're in, and why I'm not panicking, why they're definitely not panicking, and why we're probably going to be sitting there talking about a game 3 in our post game on Wednesday. But to the point of AT, I want to bring up a lot of Breanna Stewart guarding her in the regular season series for obvious reasons. Today's game, it was a lot of Jonquel Jones. Probably saw Jonquel guard AT for 5% of the minutes that they spent on the time together with each other in the regular season series. So that's something new. That's an adjustment. That's a counter. I asked Sandy Brondello about this in postgame, and here's what she had to say about that kind of nuance and being able to shift and have JJ guard Alyssa and do so somewhat effectively.
Yeah, look, we're human-driven, data-informed, so we kind of know with the experiences that we've had in these 4 games what works, and with the luxury of having JJ and Brown Stewart out there, being able to show AT some different looks, but it's, we had to work out what we wanted to give up, and I thought they did a great job.
Yeah, so that speaks to their versatility that they have, been able to cross-match their bigs in different ways to counterpunch and undo things that an opponent might be trying to get into. Job well done from them. They executed. They did what they needed to. But even with that, the Mercury still had their opportunities. They just didn't have the execution bit to put the period at the end of the sentence, like I mentioned.
Yeah, I don't feel, to your point, like a lot of what the Mercury saw today was new. Like between JJ on AT and just Emma Miesemann as a literal entire person, and she was quiet today. So I can't imagine in a game where Emma Miesemann's doing what Emma Miesemann does, because there have been other games I've watched from the Liberty where I'm like, oh my gosh, that's going to be the most horrendous matchup I've ever seen in my entire life. But today wasn't too terrible. So you have to find the silver lining, and I definitely think that that's one of them. Another one that I think Mercury fans can confidently walk away from today's game with is Monika Komakani. And I mean, if you watch our show,
there's no way you
were
don't
surprised.
Understand how to watch and assess what her production looks like.
Yeah. And today, I mean, we weren't the only people saying it today, and that's something that makes me super stoked. Is I feel like the world's starting to wake up a little bit.
About time. She's only been doing it. She's only been doing it for like 44 games.
A little late.
It's only been 3.5 months, but welcome to the party.
Quick side note: you think she'll play in America in the off season, or you think the grass is too green overseas to?
Nah, she'll probably still get back to the overseas. Those reps matter for her.
I'll miss her.
That's how she got the opportunity. So she don't want to.
No, you're right. I was just wondering. There's 6 new unrivaled spots. I'm thinking. Big brain over here thinking too much. But no, I know we've got Nate and I believe AT both on.
We got Nate and Kyle. We'll dive into them. So, start with the stat line from Monika Komakani from today's game. She played 33 minutes. She was 2 for 11 from the field. She did score 8 points. She had 3 attempts from the free throw line that she knocked out. She knocked all 3 of those down. Those are very important for her and for the team. She knocked down 1 of her 3 attempts from deep. Had 2 assists, 2 rebounds. Didn't have any steals or blocks today, but that, again, if you've been listening to us all season, her defense is not something that you can gauge based off of how many steals or blocks that she was able to compile. Her defense on Sabrina Ionescu, who for today's game, 16 points on 18 shots. Significantly impactful with the ways in which she was defending Sabrina, chasing her around the floor, navigating screens on the ball, off the ball, just staying attached to her hip and not allowing for her to breathe comfortably or dribble comfortably. She did all of that today. The 4 fouls that she got, probably 2 of those were ridiculous.
I saw Rob's comment earlier about the same exact foul on what probably should have been a foul on JJ for a moving screen and ends up being a foul on Monika Komakani, and then it just extends the possession for New York, gives them a second opportunity to reset their offense.
Yep, exactly. And that's at crucial moments of the game on top of that. So Monika's great. Monika's integral to everything that the Mercury are in terms of identity and style of play on defense as well as offense, but specific to the defense. I asked Nate Tibbetts about their pick and roll defense in pregame, and here is what he had to say, which included Monika Komakani.
It's a delicate balance. You don't want to put yourself out of position to go for a steal, but we're at our best when we create steals. I don't know if that was something coming into the season that we wanted to do. We just wanted to be better defensively, and I think we've continued to evolve. To me, it's just like we've got people that just have a knack for the basketball. And you mentioned it. Anytime we're going to see a ton of pick and roll tonight, we're going to see today, we're going to see a ton of pick and roll in this series. And it's just not 2 versus 2, it's 2 versus 5. And understanding that when the ball moves, we need to move. Our guards have to compete on the ball. We got to get up and in to bodies because they've got, people that can come off and shoot that thing. And then our bigs have to be in front of the ball as soon as that guard comes off. And we've done a pretty good job of that. That's something that we've really focused on again here the last couple days. And we need to compete on each and every pick and roll. And we've done that. And I expect that to carry over.
Yeah, so all of that, you can't talk about the Mercury defense without mentioning Monika Komakani. Obviously, Alyssa Thomas comes to mind first, and rightfully so. But right behind her, not necessarily 1B, but number 2 is definitely Monique, because she unlocks things for them. She allows for them to play certain types of basketball defensively that other teams simply can't because they don't have a version of her on their roster. And she just adds value. The simplicity of being able to stay in front of an elite guard like Sabrina Ionescu, in turn, it's a domino effect because it allows for everybody else to be successful outside of the 4 players outside of the players that are involved in primary actions. she's just really good at doing her job. She understands how to do her job effectively and impact things. And she's had great success against a ton of elite level guards. Sabrina Ionescu being one that she's had some of her most success up against them. It's a large reason why I mentioned that Monique is the X factor for me in this series, because not just her offense, but the defense that she can play when she's at her best, and what that typically entails for everybody else that's on the court with the Mercury.
Mo has been a connecting piece for this team throughout the entirety of the season. When AT is rarely and seldomly playing off the ball, there's Mo. And when AT is guarding the best big player on their team, there's Mo guarding their best guard. She follows in terms of, if AT tells her to do something on defense, she's going to do exactly what AT wants her to do. And those two together are a duo that is very hard to get away from. There were a few times where they were trapping people at the top of the court in today's game. And I mean, how do you get around that? The answer is you don't. It becomes a lot harder to manage the ball, which is an indicator of why the New York Liberty had as many turnovers as they did. So yeah, she has, to Maria in the comments point, like, she is a bright, shining star and totally consistent when the Mercury hasn't had a lot of consistency this season.
Yep, and to that point, here was Nate Tibbetts in post game speaking to all of the value and all of the ways that Mo was able to kind of add to everything for the Mercury defensively in this one.
It's very important. Again, Mo is probably a little bit overlooked with some of the other great players that we have on our team. What she has done as a rookie in this league is super impressive. The way she battled against Sabrina all day is what we're going to need to win this series. And she's been up to every challenge we put in front of her, and I'm just super proud of how she's competed.
Yeah, Mo she's simply irreplaceable, and she's invaluable to this Mercury team because of the ways in which she adds value for them defensively. Borderline all W defensive team candidate is what she should be this season. I don't have voting privileges, but if I did, she would firmly be on my top 10 defenders because of the ways in which she adds to a team that, from my eye, past just numbers, from my eye, was the second best defense comprehensively this season after the Minnesota Lynx. You can't get to that level without her being as great as she was at playing her role. And it's the hardest job on the court. What used to be being a defensive anchor in the paint and blocking shots and protecting the paint, it's still very important, but because of the impact of the three-point line and the uptick in pick and roll play, especially for a team like New York with Sabrina, if you don't have somebody that can shut her water off or at least throw her rhythm off in some capacity, you're not going to have fun, and you're not going to be able to navigate winning a series against a team like this. So her value is it's immense. And talked about it, what was it, Kevin, about 3 weeks ago in the film session with her and Natasha Mack. Definitely want to go and watch that if you haven't already before game 2. But yeah, Mo is everything that this team needs at that point guard position.
Can I ask you a really dumb question?
No such thing as dumb question.
Do you think Mo has to watch more film than everybody else?
Oh, for preparation purposes?
Because of her defensive
She has the toughest matchup.
Yeah.
She has the most dynamic matchup, I would say. Because Jonquil Jones is definitely a tough matchup, and so is Breanna Stewart naturally. But she has the most dynamic matchup because they're a little bit more predictable in how they go about functioning on offense versus Sabrina is the engine for their offense. She's playing a lot of point guard, and if she doesn't have it, she's probably doing something that's ultimately going to lead her to get it back, setting a screen for somebody, a fake screen, and then getting the ball and things like that. So you have to be able to be a step ahead of her and thinking the game through. Also doing so without fouling. Sabrina gets a whistle. And it's for a good reasoning because she's a great talent and you have to do things that are illegal at times to try to stay attached to her. Mo does a great job of towing that line, but not compromising herself to where her impact that she gives most defensively is not available for the team because of foul trouble. Rarely have we seen her in foul trouble, and the fact that she's guarded, I have to double check the numbers, but like three quarters of the way through the season, she had guarded like the second or third most pick and rolls for people guarding the ball handler. To not be in foul trouble and doing that.
And she doesn't hurt people either. She doesn't she's not dirty is what I'm trying to say. Like,
nope. She's
she plays
physical.
Good,
she's
basketball.
Physical enough to where it's not hurting people. Yeah. Yeah, there was a coach. I'm not throwing names out there because I'm not trying to start drama, but there was a coach that said some things about Mo as if she was coming across as an over-aggressive player, and that's not who she is.
Wait, someone said that about Mo?
Yes, we'll talk about it off the air, but yes, Mo is a player that is physical. For a Monty Williams, Montyism, if you will, physical to the legal limit. Figures out where officials are officiating the game in terms of contact. Not doing too much to put herself in foul trouble, but doing enough for it to have impact on the player she's guarding.
Period. Well, I want to let us get to these. I think there's 2 more clips for us to go through before we get out of here.
Yeah, we got one more.
Oh, one more.
Last one being Kahleah Copper speaking to everything that is Monica Cole-McConaughey, and she spoke glowingly about her in postgame.
It makes my life a lot easier. I think Mo has been incredible. I think it's just important for myself and AT just to continue to pour into her and to let her know that what she's doing is great and it's important and it's what we're going to need down the stretch. She's locked in defensively. You know, we know what Mo can do offensively, but you know it's going to be times in different series where we need different people to be a star in their role, and I think that is what Mo is doing right now for us. In this series, she's being a star and having to guard Sabrina, and she's taking pride in that.
Yeah, so again, Monica Cole-McConaughey just simply adds value, the comfort that she allows other players to defend with because she's so great at doing her job and executing there, whether it's to scheme defensively or just to simply doing the job of sticking in front of her matchup in the rim. She does her job so well that other people are allowed to be more aggressive in pockets off the ball that makes this Mercury defensive process what it is. She's just, I genuinely can't sing her praises enough. Being a point of attack defender in this WNBA, it's not easy. One night you got to guard Skylar Diggins. The next night you got to guard Sabrina Ionescu. 2 nights after that, you got to go and guard Chelsea Gray. You don't guard either one of those 3 players the exact same way, nor do you guard Paige Beckers the same way. All of these players, Kelsey Plum, you can just run down the list of names. All of these players are guarded significantly differently from one another. On the ball, off the ball, and everywhere in between. Mo is always prepared, and she's always executing to the game plan and to the demands of whatever is the matchup that she has.
Well, I'm glad I asked my stupid question because it provided us all a lot of information about this, about Mo's likely preparation methods, you know? Because her job is definitely one of the hardest on the team.
It is. It is.
For as much of what AT does to run the show, AT is the conductor for sure, but Mo is like first trumpet. She makes sure that everyone else behind her is in line as well. So they make the show go round. But I want to go to a conversation about Stephen's keys real quick because, you know, it's a good indicator of win or losses if they actually did Stephen's keys or not. So, Kevin, do you have those for us? Key 1, physicality at points of attack defensively.
That starts with Monica Cole-McConaughey. We saw the numbers that Sabrina Ionescu, 16 points on 18 shots. We just got done talking about what she did. We just got done hearing about what the other players and coaches for the Mercury spoke to with Mo. Big check mark on that one. That one was checked off in droves. She did as great of a job as you possibly can against someone like Sabrina Ionescu.
Period. Key 2, sharpen defensive shell, defend the 3-point line.
Yep, they were very, very sharp in their defensive shell. This was one of their better defensive games on the entire season. And they held a team that is one of the best in terms of efficiency and total makes on average per game to only 10 3-point makes with an extra 5 minutes of play. And also held them to 30% from 3. It's not the first time they've done that to this New York Liberty team. Very much in alignment with what it takes for them to win this series.
Y'all can't see, but I'm snapping off camera. Key 3, control the pace of the game.
I feel like they did that for a good majority of the game.
35 minutes.
35 minutes. You force a New York Liberty team into 20 turnovers or 21 turnovers, depending on who's box score. You're looking at a lot of those were live ball turnovers. You're controlling the tempo of the game. You're playing the game on your terms. Now that comes in tandem with, like you talked about, Alyssa Thomas and Monica Cole-McConaughey being able to just kind of randomly double team players at times. You don't get that type of chaos without being able to play the game on your terms. And I think them being able to find pockets to do that is why they had the opportunities they did to close this game out. And I don't think they allow for this opportunity to bypass them again going forward.
I don't either. I think this will be a blip when all things are said and done. Stephen's reignited me with confidence in this team. I don't have to go to sleep feeling worried. Kevin looks like he wants to say something. Oh, nope, never mind. He doesn't want to say anything at all. Maybe he's not that confident in this team, but I am.
Oh, wait, whoa, don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. I'm very confident in this team. I just didn't have anything to say in that moment.
She
Mighty Mercury, till I die.
She definitely just duped you.
No, yeah, you see that evil she was trying to put on me, chat? That was crazy.
So for our next show, we're going to just spawn in a circle around Kevin and try to will evil onto him. But anyways, chat. It was a devastating loss to me personally, but I feel good after this conversation. I feel better anyways. You can ask Kevin about my vibes when I walked in here. Not great.
Oh, man.
Not great. I was not feeling good. And then he said Mighty Mercury, and I was like, are you serious right now? Be quiet. Enough. Rob, correct me if I'm wrong. Everyone on this New York roster has a ring. By comparison, this was the first playoff game for half or more of Phoenix's team, and it was this close. New York's in trouble. Period. Yeah, we got some adjustments to make, but when they come out game 2, it's going to be fun. I'm a little bitter and jealous of the people that are going to be in New York. It'll be fun. It'll be a vibe. It'll be a fun time. I guarantee you Ellie's not going to fall from the ceiling like our guy Scorch did today, but, you know, you take what you can get. You guys get something else in New York. As you look to game 2, first of all, I do have one question before we go. Do your keys change to this game after the game you saw tonight? Or do your keys for game 2 change? And if they would have won tonight's game, would have they still changed or maybe not at all?
They'll change. They always change depending on what the game is showing. One of the biggest keys in game 2, spoiler alert, is going to be execution. Because without it today, they lost. Yep. With it, they win probably by double digits. So that'll be key 1. So you can go ahead and pencil that in, Kevin. I just got done with 1/3 of the job for game 2's keys. But yeah, it's very much just kind of looking at what's going on with it. They didn't have that tonight. That'll be the most pressing one because without it, the season's over. And with it, we're back here for game 3 on Friday.
I'm just trying to be gathered here for game 3 post-game show. I don't want to be doing a season wrap-up on Friday. That actually sounds terrible. So I'm just going to be manifesting politely in my room.
Take it one day at a time.
Yep.
One day at a time.
All right. All we got to do is get to Wednesday. Kevin looks like he's about to have a panic attack over there about game 2, just like me. It's okay. It also could be just that he needs gas.
Predictions and player of the game? Go ahead.
I also am very confident in the Mercury in games 2 and 3 going forward in this series. But, like, for the record, like, this isn't you can't just pass up opportunities to win games in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So I think that's what really I'm worried about more so than anything. It's not worried about games 2 or worried about game 3. It's like they let this one get away. And you can't let games in the playoffs get away. And that's why I'm over here hiding behind my hands, throwing the prayer signs up for game 2. Because I'm scared. I'm nervous. Because now you got to go win 2 in a row.
And now Kevin's got to work on his day off, which is Wednesday. So that stinks.
Well, he was going to have to do that either way. So
you right. That's tough. Oh, man. But we did get a buzzer beater super chat from Maria Dior Lawson, and I'm going to go ahead and read her comment from above it.
All of our diehards. We appreciate you, Maria, always.
Facts. Maria says, Mercury have a fight that I don't think the Liberty have. Can't explain it, but that's just what I've noticed, and Mercury will adjust in the second game. So that's a perfect segue to get us to our predictions, and I think you have a great idea. Player of the game.
Prediction and player of the game and why. So y'all let y'all go and then I'll round us out.
I'm going to go Mercury on top. And what's the score today? 76-69. I'm going to go 79-74.
So another clutch game.
Another very close game. And I think the player of the game is going to be Satou Sabally. Get her little lick back on her sister. You know?
She does like playing in New York.
She does. She loves playing in New York. For sure. So I expect not only a fire game day fit, but then a fire play on the court after that. So Satou Sabally, 79-74, Mercury dub. Kevin?
Who's your okay. You said Satou. Okay.
Alyssa Thomas, player of the game. In fact, I'll go one step further. Another triple-double for Alyssa Thomas.
Another playoff triple-double.
In a must-have victory for the Phoenix Mercury as they take it home 79-72.
Okay.
I like that. I like
Kevin's
that.
got Satou. All right, Kevin's got Alyssa. You got Satou. I'm gonna go with Kahleah. So we got one of the big three. So we each got a 33.3% chance of being right on this one. I do think the Mercury win this one. I think they execute better, which will be one of the keys, obviously. I think Kahleah, the shark smelling blood in the water part.
You
It's
saw
just
it
gonna.
tonight.
You can feel it.
Yep.
If you're in the arena, you can feel it. Like when she gets a touch and she looks and sees whoever it is that's in front of her. I'm not being specific to anybody because it's everybody can get this bucket. She just doesn't care. And to have someone that's that unrelenting and that desiring of getting to the paint and doing damage, that's the way you need to navigate a game on the road that's a must win. And I gotta have it. Because you need to be able to play the game at your pace. And one of the best ways to play the game at your pace is winning the free throw margin in terms of attempts. Kai gets to the line 5 or more times in game 2. That's a win for the Mercury. And she will put up probably 20 to 25 points in that as well. She's had a big game in New York. This was before Stewie got there, but she's had a big game in New York before come playoff time. So she's very much a player that relishes the moment and takes advantage of that spotlight.
Big three combined for 65 points, and we have a horrible time picking the X factor of the game. That's what I'm rooting for.
I mean, at that point, why choose?
Yeah, I mean, we
It's
got
gonna
picks for the all three.
It's gonna take all three of them playing to a certain level for us to be on the post game talking about a game 3. So I don't see any problem in that. X factor is big 3.
Period. Snap, snap, snap. Everybody.
But we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves because they got work to do. I did want to bring up a point from Maria though. She was talking about the Mercury having a certain type of fight that New York doesn't seem like they have. Double checking the regular season matchup. The June 19th game, Mercury had 42 rebounds. New York had 32. That was a win for the Mercury. The June 27th matchup, Mercury had 36 rebounds in that one. New York had 30. That was a win for the Mercury as well. The July 25th matchup, the Mercury had 33 rebounds. New York had 37. And then the most recent matchup prior to today, what was that, August 30th? New York had 28 rebounds. The Mercury had 30. So 3 of the 4 matchups, or 3 of the 5 matchups now, the Mercury have led in rebounds in each of those. That's a kind of extra effort, scrappiness, blue-collar type of barometer. The fact that Maria said that just kind of triggered that thought for me. I just wanted to share that.
No.
They can't lose the rebound margin. If they lose it, it can't be by like 2 or 3. Yep. It can't be like by more than 2 or 3. It can't be double digits like it was in today's game if we're talking about a game 3.
And it was early that they were down in the rebound margin. It was not a thing that came up at the end of the game. No, it was a rebound not good for the Mercury game. So, yeah. To your point, definitely a big key to Friday's game, or not Friday, Wednesday. My gosh, I'm jumping way ahead. Let me slow my roll.
About Friday yet.
I still have a full work week to get through, so let me just get through that, and then we'll bear through this game 2/3 this week. With that, though, I will reiterate, we're doing a post-game show for every single playoff game that the Phoenix Mercury make it to. So, Mercury, let's lock in so Stephen and I can keep talking hoops. I like coming up here.
You want to keep working.
Yeah. I hear, like, the possibility of a work stoppage is coming. Like, I want to finish this season, and, like, have a lot of fun. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard, but I've had the parade planned for, like, 5 months.
And if they do win the championship this year and then there is a work stoppage, the championship summer has been extended, my friends, so we get to celebrate longer. So I don't know. Gotta go get that W on what is it, Tuesday, Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you guys know what to do. Leave a like, 5-star review wherever you get your podcast.
We will also be having film sessions available after every game as well. So Mercury, keep going. More film, more to learn. Let's keep going.
Keep watching. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. I know it's a short list. And
Fumbling dimes, you welcome.
I felt better. Do you feel better?
I was cool. I was already cool.
That's why we're a great duo, because I never feel cool, like hardly at all. And Stephen always feels cool. That was a really cheesy dad.
Ace is up 2-0 on Seattle right now. Just tipped off.
Oh, I'm sick. Okay. All right. Well, you guys go enjoy some playoff basketball because that's exactly what's going on right now. We've been Erika. We've been Stephen. We've been Kevin. You can follow us all on Twitter. I'm at Erika Lee Day. That's Stephen PG3. That's Kevo Post. And all three of us together making some really good stuff at PHNX_Mercury. And we will be back with you after the game on Wednesday. See you then.
We all silly like the mayor.